And thank you for being with us. Welcome to KGW News at 5 o'clock. First tonight, we are talking about vaccines. Oregon is inching closer to reaching that 70% goal that will drop most restrictions and fully reopen the economy.
About 106,000 people need their first shot, but reaching those people is not easy. Pat Doris reports.
At the main fire station in downtown Lake Oswego, a drop-in COVID vaccination clinic is underway. No need to register, no need to live anywhere around here. It's open to anyone who wants the Johnson & Johnson shot. Inside, firefighter Leah Gordon waits to give that shot, but it's been very quiet. Pop-up vaccination clinics like this one are going to become more the normal thing instead of the big vaccination sites that we've seen so far. But it's also a sign of the times. Things are slowing down significantly. This one's been open for an hour. 5 people have shown up, and nobody since we got here. Assistant Fire Chief David Morris said the clinic was a last-minute idea pushed on social media with the hope of serving those who make spontaneous decisions.
For some people, scheduling doesn't work for them. They have a lifestyle or businesses or personal lifestyle that does not allow them to schedule something. So this gives them an opportunity to, yeah, I'm available and I'm coming in today.
His team will be at Lake Ridge Middle School tomorrow and every Wednesday through June from noon till 7 p.m. with more doses for anyone who shows up. President Biden has set a goal of 70% of American adults getting at least one shot by the 4th of July. Washington State launched its vaccine lottery to give people an extra reason to get the shot and picked its first $250,000 winner today. We won't know who won for several days. Kaiser Permanente is also joining the incentive game in all its territories across the country. Wendy Watson is the Chief Operating Officer of Kaiser Permanente Northwest.
I'm excited we're part of this last sprint to get to 70%.
Kaiser will pick 1,000 winners in early July. They could win a variety of prizes from family trips to wellness retreats, gym memberships, and more. The names will come from its pool of members who got vaccinated or non-members who got shots at the Kaiser sites in several states, including everyone at the Oregon Convention Center. Did you say anyone who got a shot at the convention center is automatically enrolled in this sweepstakes?
That is correct, yes.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
It is. We have vaccinated just shy of 300,000 people at the Oregon Convention Center. So all of those people will be automatically entered into this immunity sweepstakes.
Oregon has its own incentives, offering $1 million statewide jackpot for one lucky person who gets the COVID shot, and each county is offering a $10,000 prize. The drawing is June 28th. So far, it's not brought a surge of new vaccinations. All the incentives we're talking about are aimed at new people, but they also include everyone who got the shot from last December on. Good luck. Pat Doris, KGW News.
Governor Brown released new risk levels for several counties in Oregon. Lane County is one of 3 moving down to lower risk tomorrow. Yamhill County is moving from higher risk to moderate risk. This means more people can eat indoors and businesses can ease up capacity restrictions. In the metro area, Washington and Multnomah counties are in low risk because they've reached that 65% vaccination threshold. Clackamas County is still in high risk. As we mentioned, all those county risk levels will go away when 70% of eligible people 18 and up in Oregon get a COVID shot. Here's where Oregon currently stands. More than 67% of Oregonians have at least one vaccine dose, but the pace is slowing down, as Pat was mentioning. Today, we asked Multnomah County Health Officer Dr. Jennifer Vines if that 70% benchmark is feasible for Oregon.
I do think that it's attainable. I think it's going to take more work and more careful work than we saw with the incredible mass vaccination sites that really got eager people in the door, got them vaccinated. I think at this point, again, we're having to work more for each person that we vaccinate. That's work that's necessary and appropriate. But I think we will get there.
Dr. Vines echoed OHA Director Pat Allen, saying we're starting to see 2 pandemics. One that's ending for vaccinated people and one that's still happening, spreading among people who are not.
Portland's latest deadly shooting happened overnight in the Overlook neighborhood. Police found a man dead in an alley near North Failing and North Montana Avenue. We saw investigators looking around out there, looking around homeless tents and RVs, looking for evidence, of course. Police don't have a suspect yet, and we don't know what led up to this shooting. This is Portland's 43rd homicide Already this year, there were 55 homicides during all of 2020. There was a big reward for people who can help catch whoever has been shooting bald eagles. 2 bald eagles killed in the Portland area. One of those eagles died, the other survived in 2 separate incidents. This is the eagle that survived. It was rescued from a tree in West Lynn on April 28th. The bird was shot with a pellet gun. You can see the pellet in that X-ray image to the right, some of which broke off into a bone into its shoulder. Portland's Audubon is rehabilitating this bird, but it's still unclear whether it will ever make it back into the wild. The other bird was shot and killed on April 5th. Its body was discovered at Portland International Raceway. There was a reward totaling $4,500 to catch the shooter in either case.
They are a symbol of our country and of our freedom. And so people who partake in poaching are breaking laws. And in this particular case, it strikes home because this is our national symbol.
Right. Bald eagles have been brought back from the edge of extinction and are federally protected. There are stiff penalties for harming them. We have reward and tip information at kgw.com.
A bipartisan report on the January 6th insurrection blames a series of, quote, profound intelligence and security failures for allowing the deadly January 6th siege on the U.S. Capitol to get so out of control. The Capitol Police Intelligence Division did learn weeks in advance that supporters of former President Trump were discussing how to infiltrate the complex and target members of Congress. But that intelligence never made it up the chain of command.
There was one haunting report of the words from a line officer over the radio, "Does anybody have a plan?"
To prevent a similar situation, the senators recommend empowering Capitol Police to directly request National Guard support, improving police training and equipment, and streamlining intelligence. The report did not examine former President Trump's role in motivating the rioters, which one officer who spoke to NBC News in his personal capacity said was clear.
They can continue to say, "We are here because our President Trump sent us here, and we won't listen to nobody else but him."
Democratic lawmakers argue the Senate report only strengthens the case for a 9/11-style commission, something Republicans previously blocked. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said today, if the Senate does not approve a bipartisan January 6th commission, Democrats should be prepared to pursue investigations on their own.
You might have noticed if you tried to get online this morning, major websites around the world suddenly dropped offline. Pinterest and Spotify, the New York Times even, and more. An outage at a cloud service named Fastly was to blame for this. The global outage lasted about an hour. The issue has now been repaired, but you might still encounter some spot outages.